Last days at FORCADOS, Chapter 3. The girl sat quietly in the rickety jerky taxi hug. Her mother said irritably to the driver, "This car is too slow and dirty as well." She turned to her daughter Efwa. "Sit straight, you are looking dead." Efwa ignored her mother, knowing it would irritate her father. "Well, I trust we found a place where even you will find it difficult to get into trouble," her mother said, eyes glittering. The car stopped in front of a grey building. A small found woman wearing gold wig and bright red lipstick was standing by the gate. "Fumi," the woman shrieked. Her mother smiled. "Moni, this is Eva." Eva's aunt embraced her. Eva stood a little stiffly, somewhat embarrassed at her aunt's warmth. She smelled of a square but not unpleasant mixture of strong perfume and oranges. "Such a long time. You remember me, you?" "All right," her mother interrupted. "I'll be off so soon. You are not getting down. My girl prepared a goosey soup, and I have a plane to catch. I will write you a check. Efwa, bye-bye and be a good girl. Don't give Auntie Moni any trouble." The taxi sped off and Efwa helped her aunt to carry her bag inside. Her aunt kept shouting in a high-pitched voice, "FORCADOS is a nice school. They always have excellent results. FORCADOS is a nice school. I told a few people you were coming. Remember Nene Ekpo? Her father is Pastor Ekpo and she is such a sweet girl." Later that day, as Efwa was in her room unpacking, she heard her aunt calling shrilly, "Efwa, come out and meet someone." "Oh dear," Efwa thought. She took a deep breath and went out. Nene and her mother had dropped by. "Nene, this is Miss Efwa Kuka." Aunt Moni said. "Efwa, this is Mrs. Ekpo and her daughter Nene." Nene stared at Efwa. She had had a easy memory of her and had been expecting, well, she wasn't sure what she had been expecting, but certainly not the girl standing in front of her. Eva was tall and slender, with large eyes and long lashes. Her hair fell in tangled plaits across her shoulders. She had a delicate, mysterious beauty that made Nene think of a freshly blossomed flower. She certainly didn't look like someone capable of being expelled. "Good afternoon," Efra greeted her visitor, saying a little. She had a surprisingly deep, almost masculine voice. "Come here, you pretty child," Mrs. Ekpo sang out. "I hear you will be going to the same school as my daughter." "Hello," Nene said, feeling a little awkward. "I don't think you will remember me. I'm afraid I don't much remember you." "Why don't you both step outside and talk?" Auntie Moni suggested. The girl stepped out to the balcony. "I'm a commercial student," Nene began. "What class do you attend?" "Science." "Oh, you are a brainy one. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter whether we are in different classes. Let me tell you a little about our school. Morning assembly starts by 8, so I will come over at 7:30. If you like, you must plait your hair in the wig style. I will show you where I do mine. I would like that very much, thank you. So tell me about your former school. Girls only, wasn't it? FORCADOS is mixed. It may come as a shock." "I hope not," said Efwa. They both laughed, suddenly discovering they liked each other. Nene continued. "Do you remember two boys, Ansa and Jimmy?" Efwa frowned. "I think I do. Very troublesome boys, am I right?" "Only one of them was." They laughed again. You will like it here," Nene said. The next day, as the students stood in front of the hall laughing and talking just before assembly, Jimmy joined the other prefects, trying to organize everybody into lines. No more chains on trousers or dangling earrings for the girls. There will be an inspection of fingernails and socks during assembly. "Principal's order," he said. Then he noticed Nene standing with an unfamiliar girl. Efwa lung close to Nene. She felt queasy, the object of curious attention. Jimmy moved over to answer. "Who is that girl?" "The one with Nene." "Oh, that must be the new girl she was telling us about yesterday," Answer said. "A new student? Strange, isn't it?" Nene said. "She once attended our primary school, so she might recognize her. F something." Yes, Efwa." Jimmy had never heard of her, but she looked rather nice, not bright, although she probably failed at her former school. Well, Jimmy Sholade to the rescue. "Come on," he said, half dangling Answer. "Let Nene introduce us." Answer sighed. He knew Jimmy very well. "Hello, Nene," said Jimmy. "Efwa, these are the boys I was telling you about." Jimmy and Answer. Nene said, "Boys, this is Efwa Kuka." Answer murmured awkwardly. He always felt shy around girls. Jimmy just stared, his mouth open a little until Nene prodded him. "Jimmy." "Oh, I'm sorry," he said. He stretched to his full height, flashed his brightest Mr. Cool smile, and extended his hand. "I'm Jimmy Sholade, nice to meet you." Although we were supposed to have met before. Efra stared at him, not taking his hand. I remember you were frosting me. You once put a dead lizard on my table. Oh, Jimmy was flustered. I don't recall. Yeah, but you were just kids, said Efra. He turned on to Nene. Can you show me round a bit? They both walked off, and Answer decided he didn't like her at all. Snooty, just who did she think she was? Jimmy still had that gaze expression on his face. At that moment, the bell rang. After classes at the end of the day, Efra walked slowly to the principal's way. To has not been a pleasant day. In the first day, the teacher, Mr. Bade, came in and stopped short at the sight of her. Who are you? He barked. She stood up and said, I'm Efra Coker, sir, in her best lady-like manner, the way girls at the former school were taught to speak. What are you doing here? What? Excuse me, sir, I don't understand. Are you supposed to be in this class? A new student is necessary. Yes. He gave a snotty and ignored her for the rest of the lessons. Each teacher kept saying the same thing. What is your name? And you are new in a senior class, until she thought she would scream. The math teacher, a portly middle-aged woman, added, I suppose you know what being in this class is all about. They didn't like her because her students didn't normally come into school at the senior class. They thought she might lower their results. They must have thought she was a bad brain who had managed to buy her way in. What could she answer to that? The students giggled or whispered and merged each other. Now she was supposed to meet the principal, and she wasn't looking forward to what he had to say. Mr. Malone was seated behind his table, filled with bulky but neat files. He wore small glasses. Miss Coker, you know why you are here? He began abruptly. Yes, because my mother gave this school an endowment, she said to himself. It was difficult for us to accept you and register you for this final exam. But we took some factors into consideration. You are a student, and your former headmistress, she had to expel you after you ran away from school. Eva bowed her head a little. I find it difficult to believe an obviously intelligent young girl like you could. Eva knew where this conversation was going and decided to take a drastic action. Oh, sir, she said quietly. She tried to make her voice as meek as possible. I'm not a bad girl. I'm really not. I was going through a rebellious phase. I promise you I will never do anything to make you regret taking me here. She sniffed a little, hoping it sounded weird. The principal stared at Efra. There was something that was not quite right about her, but he could not decide what it was. You are under probation for this term. We will be watching your mark closely to know if you can cope, and you are to meet the guidance counselor once a week. Good luck in FORCADOS. Thank you, Efra. Thank you, Efra said and went out. Once outside, she dropped the milk act. She found shady spot beneath a mango tree and leaned against the rock back. The school grounds were deserted now, and a small flock of grey and black pigeons strutted and fed on the grasses not far from where she stood. Mr. Malum hadn't been too bad, though she would never have thought he would speak to Mrs. Obange, her former principal. She thought of Mrs. Obangen, a large woman with a gruff, friendly voice so different from thin, stuffy Mr. Malum. The principal hadn't wanted to expel her. What is wrong, Efra? Why did you run away? Mrs. Obange had asked after Efra had been brought back to school. But Efra hadn't been ready to open up. You can tell me to leave if you want. She had relied defiantly. Mrs. Obange had flared up at that. Very well, if you want to leave, then leave, you shall. She had got what she wanted, hadn't she? She had left Abuja. She was away from her mother and stepfather and all of them. Suddenly, she couldn't help thinking of her former school, St. Catherine, an all-girls boarding school. She thought of all her friends and clubs and the busy life she used to lead. At this moment, she thought the girls would have been on their way to the dining hall, forming a long row of blue in their school uniforms. I was a fool, she thought. I only hurt myself. A tear trickled down her face, and suddenly, overcome by regret, she burst into tears. Pigeons, startled by the noise, took to the air in a flurry of